What's up, YouTube? This is DBZ439 coming at you with another deck profile, and this time it's Odd Eyes. Once again, I was able to top with this deck. I got first place in my locals. It was 6 rounds with 4 rounds of Swiss, which I went 4-0, and then there was a top cut with 2 rounds, which I went 2-0. So overall, I went 6-0. And my matchups were first round I played Heroes. It was like a Hero OTK variant. Beat him. Second round was Trickstar, complete meta deck. Beat him. Third round was True Draco. This was a really hard matchup. He opens Imperial Order game one, and I ended up burning him. He burned himself out for game, and that took up most of the round. Round two, he flips anti spell. I scoop, and round three it went into time, so I red ice flared him. So that was round three, True Draco. And then round four, I played Zombies. They had the new support with the Zombie Structure deck. And so that was the fourth round. I beat everyone 4-0. And then in the second and top cut, I ended up playing the Trickstar player. I played round two, and then I replayed the Zombie guy and that I played in round four. So those were my matchups. And those match. I feel like this deck had a good matchup with all of them. Funny thing is, I didn't win a single die roll. I went second every round, and I really want to go first with this deck, but this deck can go second. Another major change I made with this deck is it's running the Electromite version. Before, I wasn't running the Electromite version, and this card actually does wonders for the deck because it has nice synergy with Arc Pendulum. Being able to pop Odd Eyes and scale and triggering his effect is fantastic. So, without any further ado, let's just get onto the deck profile. So, starting off with the main deck, we have triple Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum. So, this card is obviously the best card in the deck because it's your high scale that you always want to see. There's a lot of ways to search it out, and you just gain so much advantage when Odd Eyes gets popped either in scale or on field to float from hand, deck, or grave. And I love floating. The main card I love to float into is either Lancer Dragon or the Vortex Dragon in grave after you fused into it. So being able to recur your resources and being able to special summon during either player's turn is fantastic. So you always want to see this card. It's the best card in the deck, hands down. Another Odd Eyes Pendulum monster I run at 3 is Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon. Basically on field, he does a lot. He's a heavy hitter. He can hit for like 49 if he attacks directly. And in scale, his pump effect is really like sneaky. Like being able to pump your Electromite is fantastic. And a lot of people think that you can only pump your Odd Eyes cards. No, as long as you have another Odd Eyes in scale, you can pump any monster during any battle phase. So it throws a lot of people off guard, and I got that effect off a lot during the tournament. The other 3 of Odd Eyes card I run is the triple Odd Eyes Persona Dragon. Unfortunately, it's a level 5, so you can't search it off for like Spiral, Flame Strike, but it is a low scale, and its monster field effect, being able to like target negate extra deck monsters is fantastic. Like this didn't come up at the locals that I top, but being able to bypass chain blocking is fantastic. Like against like Isolde when they try to like chain block with the Goki monster in grave, this targets, so like it bypasses that, and it's a really good. It's a 1 card negate that's an Odd Eye, so it has fantastic synergy with the deck. And then so this is an Odd Eyes deck, and I'm only running one of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. This card isn't as good as it was in the previous builds because now I make Electromite, so his scale effect to pop itself to trigger Arc Pendulum is not as relevant anymore. So I just have it at 1 because it's just the namesake, and you can tutor it out whenever you need to, like with the Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum or Sky Iris or any of the other searcher cards that you run in this deck. So having it at 1 is cool. But I had to make cuts for Call by the Grave because Call by the Grave is so meta relevant with all the hand traps running around and so much graveyard reliance. I had it at 3, but then I had to cut the other 2 for Call by the Grave. The other one of Odd Eyes cards, I have 1 Synchron, 1 Dissolver, and 1 Lancer. So Lancer helps you, especially in the True Draco matchup, when they try to pop anything like in scale, you can protect it and trigger Arc Pendulum's effect by popping another Odd Eyes card in its place. And it's a big body. Biggest downside is a level 8, so if you open it, you can't Pendulum summon it. So that's unfortunate. Odd Eyes Synchron, it's a 1 of. It helps you sync. I run a lot of synchro monsters because I just like the synchro toolbox. It's just personal preference. But one really cool thing is being able to grab something in scale and syncing with it. So like a lot of people think that you have to grab an odd eyes card from scale to sync. No, you can sync with like anything. So like if you have a jackal or a chronograph, you can put the chronograph in scale, normal this, grab the chronograph and go into a level 8 synchro. And I run a lot of level 8 synchros. Like one of my favorite cards in the extra deck is clearing, and being able to like Regeki your opponent's field is fantastic. And then the one dissolver, again it's level 8, so you can't pendulum summon it, but it helps you open go into Vortex, which is one of the best cards in the deck because it's just such a defensively fantastic option. So that's it for the one of. Now, since this is an Electromite build, so I run turbo cards. So I run the triple Cerberus that go into double Jackal. Now, I run three Electromite turbo engines. I run the Mythical Beast engine, I run the Chronograph engine, and I run the Darkworm engine. But this is the only engine where you run the 2 of instead of the 1 of in Jackal, because Jackal is a good card to open. And like even if you open like these two, you still have another Jackal in deck to trigger the Cerberus King, Master Cerberus. Sorry. So I like this ratio. I think having it at 2 is good. Like even if you can run it at 3, you could. Unfortunately, this deck space is too tight, so I just keep it like this. But Jackal is really good. So that's the one engine for Electromite. And then again, you have the triple Chronograph with the 1 Time Gazer. Again, you just want to have a Pendulum monster out for Electromite. And Chronograph is good also because it can help you go into Norito. And its hand effect is really good because against Trickstar or just any deck that anti-spells you, this is an inherent out to anti-spell, because if they try to pop something, you can special this in hand and special summon a Pendulum monster and at least have like field presence. So that's really good. The other Electromite Turbo engine is the Darkworm and the Gate. Now this is super funny because the Gate actually has really nice application. Like in Pen Magicians, it's not as relevant, but in this deck, being able to pop an Odd Eyes to trigger the Arc Pendulum and to special a Vortex Dragon is really good, because of the Vortex, even if its effect is negated off of Gate, it can still be like a link material or it can be a fusion material, so that's really nice. Oh, it's a level 7, so that's also relevant. That's it for the monsters. For the spells, I run the double Shrine and the 1 Foolish for the Darkroom engine. I run the triple Spiral's Flame Strike, fantastic card. Not a hard once per turn. Open multiple of these, you have a fantastic hand. Basically, you need to max on copies of Arc Pendulum. Then I have the triple Skyrus and the 1 Terraforming for the field spell engine. I don't want to bump this up to 2 just because A, I don't have space, and B, like some games I don't open this, and some games I open too many of this, and that's just a brick. So you want to see it in opening hand, but you don't want to open multiple copies. Like it's not like a Union Hanger or like any other or like Psychic, the whatever the field spell is for Psyframes. Like you don't want to open multiples. You just want to open one. And if you open one, it's fine. If you don't open any, that's fine too, because you can still, because the goal of the deck is to turbo out Electromite. And then for the other one-ohs with the Terraforming, I have the 1 Alliance and 1 Summer's Art. Again, just grab more copies. I definitely pump more run more copies of this, but I just don't have the space because you always want to see Arc Pendulum. And then last of 2 of Called by the Grave. Like I mentioned, I was running triple Odd Eyes Pen, but then I ended up cutting it for these 2 just because I feel it's the right meta call. Being able to negate hand traps to make sure your Electromite goes through, and to be able to like stop your opponent, because like Dark Heroes are really popular, Gokis, Mallies, just dangers. All this hurt. Like this is not just a hand trap stopper. It just stops anything that activates Engrave. So I honestly think it's a staple in this meta. Alright, that's it for the main deck. That's no traps, so it goes 26 monsters, 14 spells. Quickly onto the side deck. I run the Gamma package, triple Gamma, 1 driver. Just being able to stop your opponent on your opponent's turn is really important. Then the triple Lava Golem for any deck that just makes big boards or tries to extra NQ. Double Denko, this is going second against back row heavy decks like Sky Striker, Altergeist. And this is for going first against back row heavy decks. So like Heavy Storm Duster is good against, again, like Paleo, Alter Guy, Sky Striker, or even True Draco. And Red Reboot, I'd probably say MVP of the side deck because Anti-Spell is your worst enemy, and be able to stop Anti-Spell and shutting off traps, you can go for the OTK. So you don't care about the life point cost, you just want to go for game and stop and be able to make your plays. Okay, for the extra deck, again, this is the Link variant that I'm running. So I don't only run 3 Link monsters, but Electromite's the MVP. Mellotron, be able to link your Absolute with this to get Vortex. Underclock just for the generic Link 2, which it comes up often. It can also go for game. It has nice interaction with Odd Eyes Pendulum. For the XZs, just 3 rank 7s. And 1 rank 6, which is Naruto. But Absolute has good synergy in the deck, lets you go into Vortex. Big Eye, really good card, especially against like Thunder King. That didn't come up, but I mean, it's hypothetically really good. Red Eyes Flare for time. I won against True Draco because of this. Last XZs, Naruto. You have Chronographs and Mythical Beast, Jackal King. For the synchros, 1 Scarlight, 1 Supreme King Clearwing, 1 Omega, 1 Ignister. These are all level 8s, so like you usually do it with Odd Eye Synchron plus a Chronograph for a Jackal. But what's really funny is there's this one time where if you have a Gamma in hand, which I side, you can summon it off obviously off its own effect, but you can also summon it off the Chronograph, and it'll still fulfill the requirements of these two. Because these two aren't generic 8s, but you can still, Chronograph plus Cypher Gear Gamma is still one of these, so that's really nice. That's it for the synchro. Oh, and the last synchro is level 7, which is Meteor Burst, good against BAs. For the fusions, I run 3 Odd Eyes Vortex. Now, I see a lot of people only run 2 or maybe even 1 in like Pen Magicians, but I like 3 in this deck for 3 reasons. Because I can make it off of 3 cards. So 1, I make off of Gate 0 to pop. Another one I make off a Dissolver, and the last one I make off is Absolute. So there's games where I actually go through all 3. So I like running it at 3, but that's just my personal opinion. But anyways, guys, that's it for the deck profile. Please let me know what you guys think. Again, it's one of my favorite decks, and I got another top with it, so it's really special to me. If you guys have any suggestions on how I can improve the deck list, or just have any comments in general, I read all your guys' comments, so please comment down in the comment section below. Please leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and please check out my other content, and have a nice day.